All right, we're going to go ahead and roll into our scheduled media availability a little bit early, and then we will be joined by our ARCA champion here in just a little bit. Joey, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you spending some time here with us this weekend. We'll go ahead and open for questions. If you have a question for Joey, go ahead and raise your hand. I'll work to get a mic to you. I can see several questions. We'll start up front with Zach.
Zach Sterniolo, NASCAR.com. Joey, how do you evaluate what this 2025 season for you personally and for this 22 team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously not everything we hoped for, right? I mean, our goal is to win the championship every year. Obviously we fell short of that. So that part's, our goals are really high, right? So and the same token, I feel like there's moments of the year where we looked really strong. There's moments of the year where we didn't capitalize on opportunities to win that we could have. And then I look at the playoffs as a, okay playoff. Right, we didn't really, stack any wins in there, but we were able to, work our way into the round of 8 and be a threat up until the last race there in Martinsville. So, right, the goal every year, I always say it when you start the playoffs, is to make it 10 weeks of hell. Make sure you have the pressure on you for 10 weeks. Well, we got 9, right? So nine hard weeks. Better than 6, but it's not exactly where you want to be. So, in some cases you can kind of look at it and say, hey, we've done a decent job, and other hands, just not what our expectation is of ourselves. So, this weekend stings a little bit. If I'm being honest, it hurts to be here not racing for a championship. But at the same time, it's probably good it hurts. Shows you still care, right? So it shows you that it makes you a little angry. It's probably a good thing, and you can use that.
All right, we're going to go to Kelly.
Kelly, CrownRacer.com. Joey, 2 things. First off, now that we've had 4 years of a sample size with this race car, as a driver, the driving style it takes to drive this car, I've been polling kind of every driver. Who do you think it has benefited having to adapt to this style of race car, and who do you think it's hindered the most?
Like a type of driver or like a specific driver?
However you want to answer it.
Well, at least it's very open. I think, honestly, I think it's really helped the younger drivers coming into the sport because the other car I got 2 parts of that then. But the other car was very unique. It took years to kind of get your head wrapped around it. And when the next gen car was introduced, all that knowledge that the experienced guys had got wiped away back to zero. If anything, it was even harder because you had to unlearn a lot of things. Now, there's still the experience and how to lead your team and all those things that you learned for experience that will always be there, that will always help you. But you got to unlearn how to restart, how to pass cars, how to, how your car is going to migrate throughout runs and all those things, right? Where the lines are, moves around, all those things you had to unlearn. So if there was a time to be a rookie, it was like a few years ago. Right now, it's starting to get to be at the point where everybody's, everyone's getting experience together and it's going ahead. The other piece that obviously helped is when, whether it's like a Shane Van Gisbergen, right, where he's able to jump into a cup car and win immediately because it felt like home to him, like a similar car to what he raced. He's really good, so he would have won in the old car too, but I believe it would have taken a little bit longer for him to get his head wrapped around what the old car was. Just, as slick as it was to drive and heavy and just the little nuances about it.
The second thing I wanted to ask is, having been here before and competed for a championship here at Phoenix, how do you think the city of Phoenix and Phoenix Raceway has been as the championship host these last 5-6 years?
Yeah, I think it's been great. I'm sure I'm speaking for all of us. We got so used to finishing the year in Miami, right, where it was tradition. We were used to it. And when that got ripped away, you were kind of like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like this. And I'll be honest, the first couple of years it felt weird being out here, but it's honestly kind of felt like tradition now out here since we've done it for so long. And as somebody that's been fortunate enough to win championships in both places, it's been awesome both ways. I promise it's been great. No matter where it is, I don't think it's going to matter. The place is going to pack out, no matter where it is. It's a championship race. So as long as it has all that clout behind it, I don't think it matters where you put it. The fans are going to show up. But I will say the fans at the racetrack here have been great. The racetrack itself has done a good job at making it feel special. Right, that's important, right? So it's only a big deal if you make it a big deal, and I feel like we've done a good job at making this race feel like it's different than all the other races, because it is, and it should be.
All right, Jeff, if I can get a microphone to Jeff, please.
I know it's we all know how you feel about this format and stuff, but looking back, this is probably going to be the last one race version of it. So, what do you think the legacy of the elimination playoff with the one race championship will be when we look back on it years from now? We're 10 years removed. How do you think that we will view this era of NASCAR?
I'm sure someday we'll be in our rocking chairs talking about this, and the argument will continue. I think it'll just go forever on which one was the best and all these different ways. And I don't know. I was talking to Richard Petty yesterday, and he said he won 5 championships in 5 different formats. He's won 7, but 5 of them were in different formats. And I was like, that's kind of crazy. I didn't even know that, right? So there's a certain point there where no one's even going to know. I think, right? It's like it's going to go to whatever the next one is, and if you're a new fan, you're not even going to know what this format was, and it's going to be a stat, right? You just know he has 7 championships. I don't know. I don't even know the ways he's won it. He was teaching me things I didn't know. So we might know, right? And everyone's going to have their opinion on it, and that's fine. I'll always remember it personally because it's affected my life in so many ways, good and bad, right? Being on the good side and the bad side, but I know I've never felt pressure like I do during this playoffs and the way this format is. I've never felt anything like it. I'm interested and curious to see what the next one is. I don't know what it is. Your guess is as good as mine. It's probably better than mine. You probably know. I don't. But, whatever it is what it will be. And I'm going to have to figure out how to win in that one too. And that's just the name of the game.
All right, John Newby, right here in the middle.
John Newby, fan buzz. With the way that not being able to compete for championship this weekend is kind of clearly burning you up, what do you do starting Monday? Having, won multiple championships, you take a little bit of time to reset, or is it just immediately go back into kill mode, preparing for next season?
Well, I gotta go to SEMA show and then the banquet, and so Monday's not quite normal. But I'll say, I think it's important to take a second to take a breather over these last 10 weeks. Like I said, it's a long 10 weeks. It's important to just take a break, maybe a little time to reflect and start to, and not that I haven't already been thinking about it, of, okay, what do we do different next year? You got to do something different because what we did wasn't good enough, right? So you can't do the same thing and expect a different outcome. So we got to look to do some different things, and how can we approach things differently? How do we approach race weekends? What do we do to got to be faster on the racetrack? We just got to try to be better, right? Because bottom line is we were not good enough. That's the facts. There's no way to hide from that. You can't make up all these different scenarios on why you weren't. We weren't good enough, and so we have to identify those weaknesses and figure out what to do to change those, and that will happen really quickly.
All right, I know we had a question far over here. Okay, go. Yep, go here. No, you're fine. Right here, and then in the back.
Eddie Kalegi, Motorsports Today. Joey, you've obviously won 2 championships in this format at this track. What advice could you give to drivers like, say, Denny Hamlin, William Byron, who have been in this spot before and haven't been able to get it done like you were able to?
I don't know if I'm the one who should be giving advice. Everybody's different, right? Everybody handles things differently. Everyone handles, the weekend differently. I do always laugh when everyone says it's just another race weekend and it's just another race, because it's such a load of crap, because it's not. It's so much more than that. It's always funny when I hear that, I will say that. But it's, I don't know. Like I said, everybody's different, but the pressure is real, and their teams everybody's different on their teams too, right? Whether it's their crew chief and all that. So everyone's got to do it their own way, right? Like, I can't be somebody else, and they can't be me, right? You got to kind of figure out your own way of doing it. So I don't know if I can give the best advice, but I know the only thing I know is that, it's the opportunity of doing something that will follow you the rest of your life is tomorrow, right? Like that day will happen. And the one thing you don't want is to go to sleep tomorrow night saying, I didn't think of this, or I should have thought of this and tried a little bit harder here, or put a little bit more effort into this, and I might have given myself a better chance. That's my biggest fear.
All right. We'll go in the back, and then Steven with front stretch has a question up here. Go ahead. Right here. Yep.
Hi, Michelle Aaron from the podium finish here. Joey, how do you, being a 3-time champion, hope to continue the legacy and contribute to NASCAR's rich history as a sport?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be different phases of my career, just like anybody else in the sport, right? There's the driving and active piece, and then there's going to be at some point when I don't drive anymore, and what does that look like? I don't know exactly what that'll be, but I do know the definition of a true champion is giving back more than you take, and the sport's given me a lot. It's given me everything. It's been an awesome experience. So, I definitely want to leave it better than it was when I got here. I can do a lot of that now while I'm still active, and we do that through the Driver Advisory Council a lot. Very active in that. But post racing, for me, post driving, I'll be involved. I'll be around at some way, because the people before me did that for me, and I should do that for the next generation.
All right. We're going to go Steven. Go ahead.
Steven Stump, frontstretch.com. Joey, with how great Team Penske is here at Phoenix, how much slack or lack of slack would you give the Championship 4 drivers if you guys are racing for the win?
No, I think you're respectful of the situation. I've been in the situation, right? And your senses are just heightened, right? Like any little thing that happens, you're like, whoa, what is that doing? Right? You're like you're just fired up in the car a lot more. So you're respectful of what's going on, but you still have your race, right? You still can go out there and try to win the race. You don't want to get in the middle of what they got going on and be a storyline, but you can go out there and be a spoiler, if you will, right? Where you can go out there and go out there and win the race, right? It's happened one time before, only once, but it's happened. It is possible to go beat those guys and win the race. It'd be bittersweet, I could tell you that much. It would definitely be that
was actually
it'd be cool.
My next question. It was, would a win kind of cure the sorrows last week, or would it just be frustrating knowing what could have been?
I think it would be the most frustrating victory of all time.
Thanks.
Yep.
All right. We're going to wrap with Jerry. Go ahead.
Jerry Jordan, KickinTheTires.net. Not necessarily a question for your racing, but which we see all the social media posts with the races around the yard and things like that. Which Logano kid is going to be the one to follow in your footsteps and go in the racing world?
I don't know if any of them will. To be honest with you, maybe. I'm not going to force them. I know that. Like, I'm just going to let them live their life, and they see what Dad does. And if they want to race, great. I know some good avenues to help. If they want to go do something else, then that's good too. All I want them to do is try hard. That's all that matters to me is effort. I just want to see them digging and grinding to be great. Whatever it is, try to be the best in the world at it, no matter what it is. I don't know what those will be. I will say my oldest has taken interest in just driving. It's literally every day we sneak out of the house and go drive go-karts and four-wheelers, and it's every single day, which is great because I feel like I'm raising my best friend, so it's pretty fun. But yeah, that whatever they want to do is fine with me. We'll just wait and see. Oh, he's competitive, all right. He's frustrating to race against, believe me. He's really light, and he wrecks me. But it's just like his old man.
All right, Joey, thank you so much
Alrighty.
for your time. Best
Thanks,
of luck
guys.
this weekend.
Thank you.